Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ray Flowers breaks it all down for you from a fantasy sports perspective. Hey there, everyone. Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. Hope that this hello brings you to the point where I'm going to try to make sense now. Brings you to the point of happiness on a Monday morning. I don't know. I started the show out. I was typing something as I want to do here as we start the show, getting everything up on social medias and all that. And I sounded like a buffoon. So let's start again. I'm Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. Thanks for joining me today at Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. We're rocking and rolling Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on the show. I'm hosting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Justin Fensterman hosts on Wednesdays. As we talk about all the time, this show is free. Obviously, you're watching it here. You could either type in Fantasy Sports Daily to your podcast network, go to fantasyguru.com, click the Elite Plus tab at the top of the page. You can also go to youtube.com/@EliteSports, facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ, Twitter X @FantasyGuru site, and any of those last three places that I mentioned. If you go there, you can leave comments and questions that we'll address throughout the show. And you can also watch the show live or on demand. So many ways to consume the product over at fantasyguru.com. We have this free show, 12 o'clock Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Then we've got the Elite Sports Show with Jeff Manns, Monday through Friday on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 3 to 6. And then from 8 to 10 Eastern on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, it's me and Justin Fensterman on Elite Sports Game Time. So 3 shows a day, one of them free, 2 on SiriusXM, 12 to 1 here, 3 to 6 with Jeff, and then 8 to 10, all those times Eastern, with Justin Fensterman and myself. It's a Monday, and this is the one day of the week here on the show where we have no guests. Normally, we welcome in guests from fantasyguru.com. We talk over news and notes. We talk over articles. We talk over what we're doing at the website, all that kind of good stuff. But on Mondays, it's just me. And what do I talk about on Mondays? Well, let's throw it up on the screen. It's all baseball on Mondays. The rest of the week, we talk some football and other sports, basketball, horse racing, UFL. But today, it's all baseball. And as you can see there on the screen, we got some news, but most of it's positive on the pitching front. At least those are the guys I chose to talk about. Obviously not the case with Corbin Burns, but Eury, Perez, Tony Gonsolin, George Kirby, Spencer Strider, Cade, Cavalli, Max Scherzer, Michael McGreevy. Then we got some hitters: Jacob Wilson, Adley Rutschman, Evan Carter, Randy Arozarena. A lot of questions about him lately. 3 different people, I think, asked me questions about him over the weekend. Marcelo Mayer. And then after we talk about those guys' news and notes, we'll do what we do on Mondays, which is review the FAAB runs for the 3 expert leagues I'm in: LABR, FSGA, and Tout Wars. Who spent what on whom? We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Before we get to that, you can see it on the screen there. The football product is live over at fantasyguru.com. A great time to get in. I think Jeff Mann said that the price is going up today or tomorrow. So get in now. Get in today. There's still time. You can always send a note to support@fantasyguru.com. Support@fantasyguru.com. I think if you ask, you might be able to get a discount on the VIP plan too. You can get seasonal football. That's available right now in Rocket and Roll. And we've got dynasty rankings, rookie rankings, PPR rankings, non-PPR rankings, best ball rankings, rookie rankings. Did I say that? IDP rankings. All that's live now. Articles coming out on a daily basis. That product is rocking and rolling right now. You can get signed up for that. Click that subscribe tab in the top right corner. You can also sign up for the DFS football package. That is available. Of course, nothing's there yet, but it is available for you to purchase right now. There's also the ability for you to get the wagering piece of the football product. You can get all 3. You can get VIP Platinum, which gets you everything we do for football. Everything. Every live stream, every podcast, every article, every ranking, every Discord room, all that stuff. So go to fantasyguru.com, click that subscribe tab in the top right corner, get signed up for the football product right now. We are just finishing up our mock draft. I think we've got like 3 picks left in our mock draft, so that should be posted here probably in the next 24, 48 hours to see how the staff is drafting against each other. That's always fun. It's a fun exercise because all of us are kind of, I can't say we're all targeting the same guys, but there are players that we all want, right? So it's a battle to see how that goes. So that should be posted soon. Just one of the many things you get when you sign up over at fantasyguru.com. So get that football product, get signed up right now. And again, you can always send a note to support@fantasyguru.com. If you want to do something a little bit exotic, maybe you want to get 2 of the 3 products, maybe you want to change things up, add something to something you already have, support@fantasyguru.com. All right. Let's talk some baseball here. Let's talk some Corbin, Burns, and as you know, it's out there by now. Hurt his elbow. He's done for the season with Tommy John surgery. And the upshot is that Ryan Nelson, who was basically filling in for Eduardo Rodriguez, now Ryan Nelson's going to get some run in the rotation. And Nelson didn't pitch well over the weekend, but he's a very solid pitcher. Last year he came on and was a strong second half performer. I would anticipate him being very effective yet again. So I don't know what leagues he's available or not, but he's got a legitimate chance to stick in this rotation. We know that the Diamondbacks offense can be, explosive. It can provide a lot of run support at times, obviously. So I think Ryan Nelson's a very solid pickup off the waiver wire, if indeed he is still sitting there. Corbin Burns obviously done this year. The timing of the injury makes it difficult. He's obviously not pitching in the first half next year. He may not pitch next year at all, even in the second half. So, this is why if I was running a team, he got 6 years, $210 million, 30 years old. No way in hell I'm signing a 30-year-old pitcher to a $210 million deal. Can't do it. Just can't. Even Corbin Burns, who has been as stable, as consistent in innings eaters or in baseball, you can't do it. If I'm running a team, I'm running all these young guys out there, the first 5-6 years of their careers, and then we're moving on. And we're spending money on the offensive side of things. But the Diamondbacks gave it a go. They lost big time because obviously, half a season this year, probably nothing next year. Not even half a season this year. But Ryan Nelson, again, is the beneficiary here. He's somebody that you should give consideration to adding if he's on the waiver wire. Eury Perez is back in our lives. He's set to start today against the Pirates. Go, Eury Perez. Bottom line with Perez is that it's really tough to know, and we've talked about this a lot. He's looked good. He has hit every single, what am I trying to say? I'm doing something else here. Sorry. I got a little note here. He's hit every possible positive benchmark on his return from the elbow surgery, and he's going to be good to go. Obviously, it's unclear how much room he's going to get. We've talked about this. How much room he's going to get per outing, how many pitches he's going to be able to throw, how many innings are going to let him throw. He is, because he's pitching today, technically set to make 2 starts this week. Will he make both starts this week? Not positive. Was he going to be able to throw 75 pitches in each outing and go 5 innings? We'll see. But faces the Pirates say that's not the matchup to be afraid of. So, here we go. Yep, it's good news to have Eury Perez back in our lives. And Eury Perez, for those people that have forgotten, because it's been a while. I mean, he's a top 3 pitching prospect in baseball when he was might have been the number 1 pitching prospect in the game, depending upon what source you used. Came onto the scene, was really good, and then hurt himself. So this is exciting. I have him in my keeper league. For those of you that are able to roster him, and in that scenario, you're hopefully looking at a bounty of return next year. You probably get, when you draft him this year, 25th round. Depending on what you're keeping, 30th round, pick him up off the waiver wire. In terms of seasonal this year, what are we going to get out of him? I expect good and effective pitching, and we'll see what that looks like workload-wise. But if you have him and you want to pitch him today against the Pirates, I got no problem with doing that. I think it's fine to get him out there. Just understand that we don't know, again, how many pitches he's going to be out there throwing. Tony Gonsolin. Better news than Corbin Burns, but not great news. He's got the UCL injury. The good news is that Tony Gonsolin's elbow is okay. The UCL is okay. He was sent to the injured list with elbow discomfort, whatever the hell that means. There's no word yet on how much time he's going to miss. And this continues the Dodgers' odyssey of pitching injury. And, you look at this team we've talked about a lot. Look at this injury. I'm pulling it up right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They have 15 pitchers. 15 pitchers on the injury list, including Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, Blake Snell, and Tony Gonsolin. In theory, 4 of their 5 pitchers, in theory, on the injured list. That doesn't even include Gavin Stone, who stepped up last year. That doesn't include guys like Kyle Hurt and River Ryan, youngsters. But the bottom line is we don't know when Snell's going to be back. We don't know when Sasaki's going to be back. We don't know when Glasnow's going to be back. We don't know when Tony Gonsolin's going to be back. So right now it's Clayton Kershaw, Dustin May, Yamamoto, and Robelski right now. And it's like, Dustin May is somebody that's pitched very well. And he's kind of been a lifesaver for them. But as we've discussed, and because people have been asking about him in the Discord room, Dustin May threw 0 innings last year, 0. In 2023, he threw 48 innings. In 2022, he threw 51 innings. In 2021, he threw 23 innings. In 2020, he threw 56 innings. The last time he threw 70 innings in a season, Dustin May, 70 innings. The last time he did that was before COVID. It was 2019. He's already at 61 innings right now, and we're not even halfway through the year. So they have no choice but to keep rolling him out there, but be very cautious. Like, there is no telling what this second half is going to look like with him. Injury, complete ineffectiveness, wearing down. Maybe he'll surprise the world. But it's been a long time since he's been able to do what he's done for 2 months this season. And it's only been 2 months. George Kirby. Angelo. Someone dropped George Kirby a few days ago. Yeah, and again, I mean, Angelo mentioned the 10-team league. 10-team leagues, again, I say it all the time. Yeah, whatever. Like, if you want to play in that shallow league, you have to make difficult decisions. I was talking to someone this morning. People, if you play in the shallow leagues where you have 3 outfielders instead of 5, and you don't have corner and middle infield spots, and you only start 5 pitchers instead of 9, like, you have to make bad decisions. I was having a discussion about, should Jordan Westburg be added? Absolutely, Jordan Westburg should be added in every league. Should come off the injured list tomorrow. That's what we're hearing from the Orioles. The drop that we were discussing is like Jackson Holiday, and it's like, well, do I want Westburg over Holiday? I mean, if that, at the end of the day, if that's the move I have to make, yes, I would take Westburg over Holiday. I would also say that over the last month, if you give him a full season of last month's pace, we're basically looking at like a 2015 season out of Jackson Holiday with 75 RBIs and 75 runs, and he's batting leadoff. Like, that's a horrible player to drop. Horrible player to drop. The number 1 prospect in baseball last year, hitting home runs, stealing bases, and batting leadoff is a horrible drop. But if you're in a 10-team league, sometimes you got to make the move. Luckily, Angelo was the one that was a beneficiary here. Someone else making a bad decision with George Kirby, because George Kirby went out on Sunday against the Angels and struck out 14 guys, game of his career. Now, he's pitched better games because he gave up 2 runs yesterday in the effort. But 14 strikeouts? And Kirby has been really uneven since he's returned from injury. And that's not a surprise. This took a long time to come back from his shoulder injury. They were very patient. And here we go, right? So he struck out 14 guys. I don't know how many people had him active because, again, he'd been wonky. He'd been hit in the face the previous time out, right? All that kind of stuff. So we'll see what it means long-term for George Kirby. My expectation, is that he's not striking out 14 guys, but he's now got 25 strikeouts and 4 walks. I can buy a 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio from him. 25 strikeouts in 21 innings. It's a little high, but that's basically him leveling things off with that effort yesterday was spectacular. So 14 swings and misses. That's a lot in a game. Fastball was about 97 miles an hour. Like, he was popping it yesterday. CSW of 39. So Kirby, if you had any concerns about Kirby, they're now removed. He's fine. He's healthy. And now we just got to take the ball every 5 games for the Mariners. Spencer Strider, another young righty, another one of the better young pitchers. Don't say prospect, right? Pitchers in baseball. Shouldn't have had those 2 beers last night. Another one of the best pitching performers in baseball. I don't know. Spencer Strider, 3 runs earned, 4 total in 6 innings against the Giants. He struck out 5, gave up 3 free passes. Strider's been fine, but whereas Ronald Acuna returned, he's hitting home runs and doing all these big things. Strider's just been okay. Like, we're 5 starts in and he's averaging 5 innings at start. A little disappointing, but okay, that's okay. He's young in terms of his work this season. 5.5 ERA is terrible. 1.3 WHIP. I mean, that's not what you expect. And it'd be okay to have those ratios through 5 starts because it's 5 starts. If his strikeout rate was there, his K rate's 22.5%. Yikes. Like, that's not even league average. He's striking out less than a guy an inning right now. Ugh. Last year the mark was 29%. The year before that it was 37%. The year before that it was 38%. Last year only pitched 2 games. So the last 2 healthy seasons he's had, that mark has been 37%. It's 22% right now. Yeah. So right now, best case scenario with Spencer Strider looks like a quality start. Now, just like George Kirby, we could have said the same thing about George Kirby a week ago, right? So we're not bailing on Strider. It's fair to be a little disappointed, but it's 5 outings. The good news is he seems healthy. The good news is the velocity seems okay. But he does, right now, he's just, off a little bit. And that tends to happen when you come back from injuries. That's just the way of the world. Cade Cavalli is another guy coming back from injury. He had Tommy John surgery. Just throwing him out there. I don't know. I think we're going to see him in the FAAB discussion here in a few minutes. Because I'm in, again, these 14, 15 team mixed leagues that have, 29, 30 roster spots. So I'm in leagues where 450 players are rostered. And then you've got injuries. So we're all rostering 550, 600 players. I know most of you aren't in leagues that are anywhere near that. So Cade Cavalli, but put him on your watch list because there's a lot of talk. There's always the talk about the rookies and when they get called up and the excitement that they generate and all that kind of stuff. Cavalli is the Nationals' best pitching prospect. He was their number one pitching prospect a few years ago before he needed the Tommy John surgery. He has thrown 23 innings and 5 starts with an ERA of 1.5 and a WHIP just about 1. And well over a strikeout an inning, 5-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He was supposed to be Cade Cavalli, a number 2 or number 3 pitcher at the big league level. Not supposed to be an ace, but a number 2, number 3 pitcher. Like, he's a really talented guy. And it's easy to forget that and kind of look past him because of the injury and the surgery. But he's coming, and we're going to see him in the second half. There's questions about workload and do they have anything to play for and all that kind of stuff, But the fact is that Cavalli's coming. He should be on your watch list. There'll be a fair amount of excitement when he gets promoted. It's the Nationals. It's a guy we haven't seen in a while. So it's not like over the top. It's not Bubba Chandler excitement when if he ever finally gets promoted. But Cade Cavalli, put him on your watch list. Max Scherzer's got that thumb injury. He threw 50 pitches over a simulated game of 3 innings on Sunday. He's going to throw a side session here in the next day or two, kind of see how that goes. It's unclear what the plan is exactly with Scherzer, but there is a chance that a week from now, Scherzer is starting for the Blue Jays. He might need a minor league rehab start or 2. Scherzer in the past, because he's Max Scherzer, because he knows his body so well and they trust him. There have been times where he's come back from injury and it's just boom, he's gone, right? So maybe a minor league rehab start, maybe not. So it's possible later this week that Scherzer is returning, and then we'll have to make decisions next week what to do. As an example, in Tout Wars, I have him on my injured list. We'll have to make decisions next week on what to do. But Max Scherzer moving in the right direction. Finally, though, remember this. He was moving in the right direction early in the season and then had another setback. So we'll see with Scherzer. Very unclear when he's going to take the hill for real, how many times we'll be able to take the ball. Figures to still be effective. So he's somebody we have to keep an eye on because when he's out there, he's a threat for a quality start most time he takes the hill. And then finally, Michael McGreevy on the pitching side of things, allowed 4 runs, 6 innings, took the loss against the Dodgers. Tough way to come up and the youngster to face the Dodgers. Went 6 innings, which is probably the big takeaway. He's somebody that's, he's usable without being a dominant guy. He's a nice pitcher who's was having a solid season down on the farm. He's not a big strikeout guy. He's not Bubba Chandler. He's not going to get you all excited, hot and bothered like that. But there is a path to him being Jose Quintana-like. You might hear me say that and say, all right, pass. Well, again, I don't know how many pitchers out there on the waiver wire in your league can have a 3.8 ERA and a 1.21 WHIP. Not many in my league. So we'll see that I actually added McGreevy in the league. But yeah, he had a solid effort against the Dodgers. I see a question here in the chat room about pitchers. Caglione. Kyle talked about him going 4-4. Yeah, well, he's 1 for 17 to start or whatever it was, right? So the youngster finally get going there. OSU Buckeye 1025. That's the one I tried to click on. Quick thoughts on starting Jeff Springs tonight in a head-to-head seasonal. I have Jeffrey Springs in multiple leagues, OSU, and I'm not starting him. It's a matchup against the Angels. The Angels got dominated by George Kirby. Not crazy at all to go with Springs. Springs obviously is a 2-start guy. He's got that second start against the Royals this week. It's very difficult. I have Springs in Tout Wars again. We'll talk about that team in a second. Springs last 2 starts, he's given up 9 runs and 8 innings. His ERA is 4.5 his last 5 starts. Again, the matchup is good. The Angels do not hit left-handed pitching well. They're much better against right-handed pitching. On surface, solid matchup from a team that just got smoked yesterday and a arm side that the team doesn't hit very well. So all of those are positives for Springs. I think best case scenario, he's a mid-level guy today. It all depends on your setup, what you're looking to do, all that kind of stuff. But in head-to-head, if you're looking to match up with your opponent, he's a solid start in that respect. Again, in a seasonal setting where we're talking about starting him and setting a lineup on a Monday and me having to take that second start against the Royals and, both starts coming on the road, I'm going to fade Springs this week, but he's a passable option for you this week, OSU. You can start him tonight if you need those innings. All right, let's talk a few hitters before we move on to some FAAB. Jacob Wilson went 2 for 4 yesterday, and this is getting stupid. I have Jacob Wilson in multiple leagues, including Tout Wars. Hitting .372 with a .408 on base percentage and a .528 slugging percentage. This is wow, right? Like, this is wow stuff. And he's got 8 home runs and 5 steals. If you were to tell me that he would hit 8 home runs this year and steal 5 bases this season, I'd be like, okay. 300 average, 8 home runs, 5 steals. Okay, totally could have bought that in March. We're not even halfway through the year. Now, we've talked about this a lot. I still think that expecting 15 home runs is over the top with him. Maybe I'm wrong. But the real key is his batting average of 372. He goes and just gets 2 hits every day. And it's like, we used him last week for a prop on Friday. And it's like, I just added him to the hit prop with Lawrence Butler. And it's like, cash that thing. I mean, it was guaranteed. It was a lock. He is 13 for his last 26, which is a 500 average, is Jacob Wilson. He's 23 for his last 50, which is a 460 average. And over the last month, he's 41 for 103, which is a 398 average. He's hitting 400 for a month. It's going to slow at some point. A lot of it's batting average and balls in play. A lot of it, there's some fortune built into it, all this kind of stuff. But he is somebody that we talked about in the preseason with the potential to win the Rookie of the Year. And he's winning Rookie of the Year, right? Like, he's absolutely been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic for the Athletics. Adley Rutschman, 2 for 3. Adley Rutschman is somebody that I was talking to one of y'all in Discord over the weekend. And you can still get the baseball package, by the way. Click the subscribe tab in the top right corner. Get signed up with us at FG. One baseball package, everything we do. Seasonal DFS wagering. You get signed up right now. You get seasonal DFS wagering, all 3. So whatever avenue you need help with, or you want to just have some fun with us over at fantasyguru.com, sign up for the baseball product to get it all. I was talking to somebody in the Discord, and they're like, well, should I grab Adley Rutschman off the waiver wire? Or they just grabbed Adley Rutschman off the waiver wire, I forget. And I'm like, how the hell, even in a one-catch league, how the hell is Adley Rutschman on the waiver wire? How? I know his numbers are not good. I know the expectation is that he'd be way better than he has. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. His last 9 games hitting 300. He's now 10 for his last 24. He's hitting 417 with 2 home runs last week. And as we've talked about here on this show, all the supporting data with Adley Rutschman says there ain't nothing wrong here. This is the same guy we've seen the last couple of years, even though outwardly the data was terrible. So if Adley Rutschman is on the waiver wire, add him. If he's available because someone doesn't believe in him, they want to trade him, they're just get him, right? He's about ready to pop off, and he's just started to do that over the last week. Feels weird I have to say that, but again, he's on the waiver wire in the league. Evan Carter went 3 for 4 with a home run and a double. Really nice to see him drive the baseball a little bit. He's going to be a huge key, I think, for a lot of people in the fantasy space in the second half if he can stay healthy. The Rangers desperately need a spark. Maybe he'll give it to him. Marcus Simeon's picked things up here of late, but Corey Seager's not hitting. Adolis Garcia's not hitting. Jake Berger's slowed after his hot run. Wyatt Langford's really stumbling with the bat. Evan Carter, let's go. Evan Carter, again, I have him in my leagues are 5 outfielder, 15-team leagues. So he's on rosters. He's on my roster in multiple leagues. I'm looking for good things for him. We're getting him active this week. We'll see, right? Can he stay healthy? At this point, I don't know if the answer to that question is yes or no. Until we know whether he can stay healthy, it's kind of irrelevant what his skill set is because you got to play, right? But I'm a believer in Evan Carter's skills. I'm taking the chance. That's me. Randy Arozarena is somebody that I heard about multiple times over the weekend, and it's like people are getting disappointed and they're frustrated. I say, okay, I get it. He did go 3 for 5 with a couple of doubles, an RBI, and a run on Sunday. But people being disappointed, and this to me is the thing I don't understand. If you look at Randy Arozarena, let's pull up his data before we talk some FAAB here on the show. Let's look at Randy Arozarena because people, again, are very frustrated with him. He hit 219 last year. He's hitting 228 this year. He had a 332 on base percentage last year. He's got a 344 on base percentage this year. Last year, I had a 720 OPS. This year, he's got a 730 OPS. So the slash line's exactly the same as last year. Walk rate's 0.2 different. His walk to strikeout rate is 0.04 different. Exactly the same. Last year, he had 20 home runs and 20 steals. The 4th consecutive year he's gone 20-20. This year, he's on pace for about 30 steals and about 20 home runs. So he's on pace to go 20-20 again. What were you expecting with Randy Arozarena? He's on pace to be the exact same guy he was last year in some respects. In other respects, even better. He's on pace to steal more bases. He's on pace for better batting average. He's on pace for better on base percentage. And he's on pace for more RBIs. What were you expecting? So I think this is always difficult when, I think people look at Arozarena and they look at him hitting 270, 280 a few years ago and have hopes that he could do that. And I understand that. And I still think, and I said this to the person asking in Discord, one of the people asking, like, I know he's hitting 230 now. If he hit, what did I say, 240, 250, I'm not going to be surprised. I think he could hit 240 or 250 the rest of the way. Easy, sure. But what were you expecting? Why are you disappointed in a guy that's on pace to do exactly the same thing he did last year? Whether that's all-star level or crap level, he's on pace to do the exact same thing he did last year. How can you be frustrated with that? That to me, I don't quite understand. Marcelo Mayer is a lefty. The Red Sox faced 4 lefties last week. Marcelo Mayer was out of the starting lineup all 4 times. Like, now, I mean, we talk about this all the time. I get it. You want to platoon a youngster. You want to give him the best opportunity for success. I totally get that. The schedule, sometimes you don't face a lefty for 2 weeks. Sometimes you get a bunched up week like the Red Sox had. I get it. But why do you call a guy up and then not play him? It's like, is the Red Sox offense so good that there's no spot for Marcelo Mayer? And the answer to that question is no. You know, we're playing Abraham Toro, Romy Gonzalez. Okay. Like, those guys are, and again, lefty on lefty, I get. But Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro are blocking Marcelo Mayer from getting at bats? What is going on? Why is Roman Anthony, who had a 497-foot home run over the weekend, 497 feet, why is he in the minor leagues for Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro? Right, they don't play the same positions, I'm aware. Call up Roman Anthony and put him at first base. Get the bat in the lineup. Let's go. I don't get what the Red Sox are doing. If you have Mayer, check the schedule, because clearly when the Red Sox face a lefty, Marcelo Mayer is not playing. And that does limit his outlook a little bit. Obviously, check that schedule. Don't forget to go to fantasyguru.com. Click that subscribe tab in the top right corner of the page to allow us to have some fun there in all the sports. We cover all the sports. I mentioned it earlier: NASCAR, PGA, MMA, basketball, horse racing, UFL, MMA, obviously, you know, football and baseball. Click the subscribe tab in the top right corner. The football product is available right now. And as I noted earlier in the show today, I believe the price is going up this week. We had like an early bird special going on here. So go over to fantasyguru.com, get signed up before the price does go back to our normal levels. And you can always send a note to support at fantasyguru.com. I think we're still giving a little bit of a discount on the VIP plan. If you want to get everything we do for football, support at fantasyguru.com. I think we'll knock a little bit percentage-wise off that deal for you. Get signed up. It's a great product. Okay, let's look at some FAAB. Every Monday we look at FAAB here on the show. Well, first league we'll look at is the LABR League. It's a 15-team mixed league. In this setup, I have not done a very good job this season. We'll be quite honest with you. I'm in 10th place out of 15 teams. We have $100 to spend in this league. You can't add players for $0 at any point. So every player has to be added for at least $1. It's an old school setup. So you can see there on the screen, Caglione, in this league, you can't add a rookie until they've been promoted. So unless the rookie was drafted, and he obviously wasn't, he's just got to sit on the waiver wire. Other leagues you can add, they're all these rules are different. LABR is old school setup. So in this league, you can't add a rookie until they've been promoted. So Caglione wasn't allowed to be added last week because he wasn't officially on the roster yet. So he comes up this week. He goes to Baseball HQ's Ryan Bloomfield for $34 out of $100. As you can see there, I spent $12, which was kind of in line with the majority of the room here. Obviously, others put bids out 23, 24 that were much higher. I'm getting to the point where I'm down to like $30 already because I've been battling injuries and everything. So I couldn't get involved. Would I have gone 34 for him? That's a lot. I would have been in the 25 zone with those other 2 bids were. 34 is a lot. As we talked earlier when we were discussing things with Kyle, Caglione, excuse me. You know, he's 6 for 25, 240 with 1 RBI. He hasn't done anything. It's been 6 games. So has played first base once, outfield 4 times. So maybe he'll be dual position eligible, even though they want to use him in the outfield the majority of the time. So he was the big ad this week. Ronnie Mauricio went for $8. Failed bids for him, 2, 7, 2, 3. I had a $3 bid. Let me verify that. Always want to make sure waiver wire. I always want to make sure I'm giving the right information. I had a bid. It was either 2 or 3. It was $2. I was one of the $2 bids from Mauricio. I ended up getting Cole Young at the same price point of $2. So, you know, there you go, Ray. Let's go. I got to put him active here. We'll figure that out here in a second. But yeah, so I got Cole Young, who hasn't done anything. He also has struggled. He's 4 for 27 with a couple of RBIs, but he's going to get a chance to play most days. We talked about Cole Young last week, right? He's going to get a chance to play most days for Seattle, and we'll see how it goes. Let's get him active, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Okay. As you can see there, I added Cal Teal. I had Dalton rushing. This is a league where I've had like every catcher in the league. They've all gotten injured. I've had Freddie Fermin. I've had Higashioka. I'm trying to remember. I've had like 6 catchers on my roster. Hopefully, Kyle Teal will be my number 2 to Gabriel Moreno. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Teal was killing it. We talked about him last week here on the show. He was absolutely killing it down in the minor leagues. Was hitting 295 with a 394 on base percentage and a 492 slugging percentage. He is one of the best offensive prospects in baseball at the catcher spot. So he's rushing, but rushing just not playing. Teal should be playing most days either at the catcher spot or the DH for the White Sox. And there we go, $4. I'm kind of surprised. As you can see, there were other bids 3 and 1. So luckily I bid the 4 because someone else went 3. Right there on the edge. But I think in a 15-team mixed league where 30 catchers are starting, I think it was worth investing there in Kyle Teal. Let's hope I can stop the merry-go-round of waiver wire additions in this league because it's unending. We mentioned Cole Young there. Bryce Elder was somebody that, Bryce Elder faces the Rockies. If you wonder why everyone's bidding on Bryce Elder, that's why. Faces the Rockies. I picked up Bryce Elder in Tout Wars. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Elder went for 3, and you can see there 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. Had 12 strikeouts last time out. He's facing the Rockies. So not a lot has to be said other than that, especially in these deeper leagues and your leagues that are shallower. Okay. But this is just what it is. I mean, that's the price of admission when you're talking about, 15-team mixed leagues. His last 3 outings, a strikeout an inning, 2.3 ERA and a 0.9 whip. And in 10 outings this year, he's got a 1.17 whip. In those last 2 outings, been very good and obviously dominant the last time out against the Giants. Let's see who's up next. David Festa. David Festa is going to be part of the rotation now. Zebby Matthews went down with injury in addition to Pablo Lopez being out. So David Festa is going to get some run there. $3 bid for him, $1 and $1 failed bids. A little surprising there wasn't some more bidding on him because, he's a youngster with some promise there. He's in that Ryan Nelson zone, actually. Guys that should be effective without being dominant. He'll get a chance to get some starts for the Twins. Jeff McNeil has been went for $2 to Zach Steinhorn. Jeff McNeil has been very effective. What's he been the last couple of weeks? I saw he's got his on-base percentage up to 350. So he must have had a good last 2 weeks. Yeah, he's hitting 300 with 1,000 OPS the last 2 weeks. So he's back to being Jeff McNeil, which is a multi-position guy that has no speed and a little bit of power, but it's not going to kill you in the average category. So he's a fine addition there for a couple of bucks. Sawyer Gibson Long for $2 to the FTN team. Ryan Ritter for $2 to Fangraphs. Bailey Falter for $2 to Fred Zinke. Again, all these guys playing matchup games here with the guys on the hill. Quinn Priester for $1 to Prospect 361. I looked at Priester very heavily. What was it? The probables this week. I looked at Priester very heavily this week, excuse me. But I ultimately didn't pull the trigger. Priester is set to face, where is he? Where Milwaukee? He's set to face Atlanta, which I didn't love. And then Seattle on the St. Louis on the weekend. So he's a 2-start guy. The problem for Priester is he just doesn't miss bats. He's been very effective of late. He's been run prevention wise. He's been very good. He just doesn't miss any bats. So I just didn't. I looked at him heavily, but I didn't bid on him. Michael Tauchman for $1. We talked about Tauchman last week. He's hitting leadoff and done a very good job for the White Sox. He'll get traded at some point. Then all bets are off in terms of playing time. David Fry for $1. Should I spend $4 on Kyle Teal if I could have got David Fry for $2? Back from injury, I took a risk there. David Fry should be effective. We know how good he was at the start. He obviously slowed in the second half last year for the Guardians. But he's a good addition. If he's on your waiver wire, he's a good addition, should play a good amount. And he's obviously catcher eligible, probably first base too. Toro for $1, Otto Kemp for $1. Guys just making moves here to round out rosters. We'll see that name here in a second, Otto Kemp. Let's go on to the FSGA League, 14-team mixed league. This league's $1,000. FAAB money, this is the one league where I can make moves. On a Monday, we run the waiver wire on Sunday night. Monday morning for like 3 hours, the waiver wire is open, so you can add players for $0 here. In this league, I'm in 8th place, kind of just floating along. I was doing much better earlier on, but now I'm kind of struggling a little bit. My injured list is Alex Bregman, Jordan Walker, Tanner Houck, Zebby Matthews, AJ Puck. Just got back Justin Martinez from the injured list. So I've been dealing with a lot of injuries. Bryce Miller was on the injured list. So that's been an issue for me all season long. I added Jordan Lawler in this league, and then they didn't play him. That was fun. Added Otto Kemp this week. I don't know what his playing time is going to look like. Otto Kemp for $18 out of the 1,000. I mean, I don't know how much time Bryce Harper's going to miss. Kemp is a very moderate prospect. Again, this is a 2% bid in a $1,000 setup. He's a very moderate prospect. He's not a young guy. He's got a little bit of power speed. He was killing it down in the minors, which is the level of excitement short term, because maybe he can come up and have some success. He's hitting 300 with the 400 on base percentage and a 594 slugging percentage. Zero part of that is legitimate. He's not an elite prospect. He's got 14 home runs and 11 steals. Like, he was killing it in the minors. So he's giving himself the best shot to get called up and have successes right now. He's no part of that guy whatsoever. So we'll see, but maybe he can work his way into this lineup, have some success short term, and stick around. We'll see. Again, it was a 2% bid for me. Failed bid of $4 for him. Remember, in the last league, it was a 1% bid, 2% for me. The other guy I got was Michael McGreevy for 28. As you can see there, McGreevy had a couple extra bids, 4 and 3, so no one cared. 3% bid for me for McGreevy. So, as I talked about earlier, not a guy that's going to miss bats. It's uncertain if he's sticking in the rotation long term. This is not about a guy that we got to again go out and get. I had a 3% bid in a 14-team mixed league, and no one else was over a percent, right? So, matchup based maybe, but obviously this league not excited about him at all. Bryce Elder went for $37. I was the guy at 33 with the failed bid there. So I probably should have just gone up to 40 for Elder. Unfortunately, in this league, I'm down to like $200 FAAB, so I just didn't have the money. So I had to take the cheaper option. I know that sounds stupid, but I had to take the cheaper option. I'm not looking at Bryce Elder and thinking, great, I'm getting this guy, and I'm using him for 18 more starts this year. So I just went the lower price point, but I was the number 2 bidder for him. He went for $37 to USA Today. I was the $33 bid. At the top, you can see here, Kyle Teal went for 8% here, $81. Failed bids of 32, 28, and 6. So while I might have overspent a little bit for McGreevy here, I underspent for Teal if you look at the bidding in this league. Now, again, that's not totally fair to do because we have $1,000 here. That's only $100 over there. But again, both these leagues, 2-catcher leagues. So a little bit more aggressiveness here with the bidding for Teal. Ronnie Mauricio went for $78. Well, did I bid on Mauricio in this league? Let me check it out, pull it up. May not have bid on him in this league. Let's see here. Ray Flowers bidding. Where are you at, Ray? I did. I was the $18 bid for Mauricio, the low bid. He went for 78 with failed bids of 33 and 26. The question with Mauricio isn't talent. The question is opportunity, as we discussed last week. He's got a home run. He's stolen a couple of bases here through his 5 games of action. The question is, how much playing time is he going to get once Mark Vientos is healthy? What are they going to do? So that's the real question. He's going to have to hit for the next couple of weeks, just like Otto Kemp. He's going to have to hit for the next couple of weeks to have any chance of being somebody that we're looking to utilize on a daily basis here in the next month. But for right now, very solid addition, obviously, in Mauricio. David Fry went for $51 here. Someone wanted to get their catcher here. And again, I don't think that's a crazy bid at all for David Fry. He should be a usable piece the rest of the way. Failed bids of 1, 1, 1, and 8 for him. We talked about Elder. Joe Adell went for 35. Failed bid of 31. Oh, just missed on Joe Adell. Adell has been on a nice little streak here. I think we talked about him last week when he had a couple of home runs. He's got 7 home runs the last month. The last 2 weeks, he's got 5 home runs with a 1,200 OPS. Living the dream with Joe Adell. We'll see how it goes. Hasn't gone well to this point for the majority of his career. Okay, Tim Elko went for 23. Denzel Clark for 19. Ryan Ritter for 18. We talked about my Otto Kemp bid. Misner went for 7 with Tampa Bay. Angel Martinez went for 5. Juancil Perez went for 5. Stephen Kolek went for 5. Justin Crawford went for 4. And Patrick Bailey went for $1. Yeah, Patrick Bailey. He just hasn't hit this year. Numbers say he should be better. The team believes in him here in San Francisco, but he just hasn't been very effective on the offensive side of things. Now to Tout Wars. Tout Wars, I'm in 3rd place. I had a terrible weekend. Let me pull this up. League standings. I think the last week I was like 2nd from the bottom. Yeah, I was like a 12th the last week. Terrible last week. Most of that was the pitching. Thank you, Jesus Luzardo. And who else got bombed? Jesus Luzardo and who else didn't pitch well? No, I guess that was it. It was just him last week in this league. But anyway, I'm in 3rd place in this league overall. I lost like 10 points in the standings so over the weekend. Looking at the FAAB here, Mauricio went for 136 here. Now that is big. That's a good bid. And again, this is a 15-team mixed league, $1,000 to spend. There is an ability to add players for $0. You can do that, so it's not something if you run out of money you're screwed. I'm trying to pull up what the failed bids from Mauricio were. 136. Jeez, no one else bid on Mauricio. Wow, no one. 0 was the next bid. I think Greg Jewett, was he the guy that got Caglione last week too? Who got Caglione? Was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe it was 3 weeks ago. This is what happens when you try to do things live on air. We're going to keep doing it. Let's go, folks. Caglione was Caglione. No, Caglione went 211, but it was a different team. Okay. So Mauricio went for 136. Get your guy. I got Bryce Elder for 38. Let's see. I think the failed bids. I think someone was at 54 for Elder. 24, 54, and 8. So someone else bid 54. Greg Jewett, who's in second place, who got Mauricio. So luckily I went a little higher there to get Elder. I reserved Springs. I actually dropped Mike Yastrzemski in this league. Again, this is a 15-team mixed league. You know, he had a nice game yesterday, but he's been really down. So anyway, added Bryce Elder potentially for that potential start against Colorado, which is looking real good. And he's pitched very effectively the last couple of times out, as we have discussed previously. Jeff McNeil for $23 again. Fine. He's on a nice hot run here. John Legazy, 15 for Kemp. I spent 18 in the other league, so same kind of thing. Shea Langoliers is going on the injured list, or has gone on the injured list, so Danny Jansen was added there by Kev. He also added Liriano for Cody Clemens. We're mixing and matching there, trying to make it happen. Greg Jewett was super involved this week. Released Knack, added Gibson Long. Released Vasquez, added Cavalli, who we just talked about. Remember, in this league, though, this is the league where Caglione was added a couple weeks ago, too. When you add a player that's in the minors, it's totally fine to do that. But that player has to be active for you all week, so you take a 0. So you can add anyone you want that plays baseball in Tout Wars. But they go into your lineup all week, and you take a 0. So that's, it depends who you got on the hill anyway. Sometimes taking a week off is not the worst thing in the world if you look at your matchup. So call volley anyway for 18 there. This is an on-base percentage league. Don't forget that. Greg Jewett goes to Andrew McCutcheon. McCutcheon's been very effective of late. Let's pull him up real quick. McCutcheon's got his on-base percentage up to like 348 or something. What did I see the other day? Let's pull it up if I could learn how to type. Andrew McCutcheon. Where are you, Andrew McCutcheon? Andrew McCutcheon. There you are, Andrew McCutcheon. His on-base percentage is up 353. I was off. 353. So he's, last couple of weeks, got a couple home runs, 7 RBIs. He's only hitting 237 the last 2 weeks. The on-base percentage is down to 290 the last 2 weeks. Hasn't driven the baseball very well this season, but he has gone on base overall, and he probably continues to do that in an on-base percentage league. Chase Medroth for 72. Again, somebody has to add Medroth. I looked at him. I tried to see if there was a way I could make it work. Just couldn't in this setup. The last 3 weeks hitting 316 with a 398 on base percentage. This season hitting 299 with a 383 on base percentage. He's been really effective. And it depends on what your rules are in your league here, but he's definitely going to be second base and shortstop eligible. He might be third base eligible, depending upon what the expectations were to start the year with him. So kind of a junior Jacob Wilson, actually. Very similar overall profile, really. You wouldn't know it by looking at the numbers now, but very similar. Medroth actually takes a walk a little bit better, has a little less power. But, two guys that are probably going to be middle infield options for a long time in fantasy because they have solid approaches. Medroth, let's call it what it is. Medroth is going to be Jeff McNeil. And ain't nothing wrong with that, even though he's not sexy in the fantasy space. Gabriel Arias went for 27. Arias 61 for 27. And then Zach Steinhorn got Jose Quintana for 38. I actually had a bid of $60 for Quintana as my backup to Bryce Elder. So I would have gotten Quintana if I didn't get Elder. But that's the way it worked out for me. Let's see who, just interested. Who would have Zach gotten? Who was his backup? Where are you, Zach? He would have ended. Oh, that was the only guy. It's the only guy that's listed there. So I don't know if he had another pitcher he was going for. So there you go. So that's the FAAB run this week. We do this every Monday here on the show. The rest of the week, we have guests on. Again, I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. On Wednesdays, I'm with Jeff Manns on the Elite Sports Show. That's over on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. So I'm with Jeff there on Wednesdays. I'm with Justin Fensterman at night, 8 to 10 Eastern on SiriusXM for Elite Sports Game Time. So check us out tonight. Talk live basketball, talk live baseball, go through the bets, go through the DFS plays of the day, all that kind of stuff. As far as me this week, I'm writing football behind the scenes, getting ready for that to have my articles released for the draft guide for football. I'll have the closer grid updated today over at fantasyguru.com. I'll have my race plays out today over at fantasyguru.com. I'll have the bets up later. We had a 4 for 5 Friday. So that was a good Friday last week. I actually counted out, I wrote up all the bets. I had 21 bets I wrote up last Friday, and I hit 17 of them. I only posted 5. We hit 4 for 5, so we did really well. I don't want to ever put out that many bets, but I could feel it. Like sometimes you know you're going to hit. That was what we had Friday last week. Haven't looked into it today, so I have no idea. But we're having a lot of fun over there. People winning some money. And so hopefully you'll join us by clicking that subscribe tab in the top right corner. 4 for 5 days still pretty good, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm Ray Flowers. Thanks for watching today. Head over to fantasyguru.com, sign up for the baseball product, sign up for the football product. I see Slim Shady jumping here with a question real quickly, just under the wire, Slim. Can you talk about why you have Jack Leiter ranked 110th, even though he's pitched well the last 30 days? Wonder if he's a sell high candidate and keeper league at 30th. Yeah, I can tell. We talked about him, I think, last week here on the show. Hey, I'll cut around. Maybe we talked about him on the Elite Sports Show, Game Time Show on Sirius XM. Maybe that was it. Leiter is not missing bats. His 20% strikeout rate is poor. For a guy that throws 98 miles an hour, and for a guy that has at times dominated at the minor league level in the strikeout column, I mean, 30% strikeout rate in 2023 in the minors. Last year moved up to I'm looking at AAA number. Last year was 33%. Like he's got a 19.7% K rate. So that's just not good. I mean, it's just not good, period. When you don't miss bats, and he's not missing bats, then we have to look at, okay, he's better not be walking guys. Well, his walk rate's terrible. It's 11%. So he's got an 8.5 strikeout to walk ratio, or strikeout minus walk ratio, 8.5%. Last year, in his first appearance at the big league level, was 8.1%. So he's got an 8.3% K minus BB rate. The league average is 14%. I don't want any pitcher on my fantasy squad who's got an 8% strikeout minus walk ratio, unless there's one maybe. If the guy's got a 50% ground ball rate and he keeps the ball on the ground. Jack Leiter's ground ball rate, 39%. So this just doesn't work. Long-term, what Jack Leiter is doing right now does not work. Is he tremendously talented? Yes. Does he have significant velocity? Absolutely. Does he have pedigree? Yes. For $3, am I panicking or No, $3 is not bad at all. So despite the negative things I just said, $3 in a keeper league, I don't know all the rules here, but $3 is not a bad price point to look at for him. I would not panic or drop him potentially. You might try to entice somebody else into a trade. Looking at workload last year, what did he throw last year? He threw 150 innings. No, he threw 85 innings in 2023. Last year, he threw about 110. So maybe he can get 130 innings this year. He's on pace for 140, something like that. Maybe he can get there, and we'll see how it goes. But until he starts missing more bats and starts throwing more strikes, it just doesn't work. So that's my concern with him, and why I have him ranked so low. But again, obviously a keeper league scenario is different than a redraft scenario for the next 4 months in 2025. So a 3-year contract at $3 again, Slim. I got to know who else they're keeping. I got to know what the trade would be. I got to know what the addition would be, what the cost. It's just hit me up in Discord. I'd be happy to continue this conversation with you. 3 years at $3. The question really is, who else can you have at that price point? Is there anyone that we're more excited about? Is Eury Perez $1 because he was dropped by somebody last year and you added him off the waiver wire? I'm making stuff up. Though people have rules like that, so I'm not really making it up out of my rear end. But I think at this point, would I keep him at this point? 3 years, $3 a year after what I've seen from him through 2 seasons? Yeah. He's the number 2 pick in the country, right? Yeah, number 2 pick in the country. He's 25 years old and he throws 98 miles an hour. We just haven't seen it at the big league level. Again, I'm Ray Flowers at fantasyguru.com. Follow me on social medias at the Ray Flowers, including Instagram. You can see who has been eating our roses at the Ray Flowers on Instagram if you're concerned about that kind of thing. Hit us up by clicking that subscribe tab in the top right corner, getting signed up at FG, football, baseball, all those other sports that I mentioned. We'll be back here tomorrow. It's a Tuesday. We'll visit with Armando Marsal, talk some football with him. We'll be on at about 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Articles coming out all over the place for Football Daily, just pumping out articles for this draft guide. Everyone should get signed up right now. And as I noted, I'll have both the closer grid updated today, the Rays plays updated for the day, and I'll have some bets out later tonight. And you can join us on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio from 8 to 10 to talk over all of it with Justin Fensterman and myself. So thanks for listening today. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Tell a friend about the free show and sign up with us to join the largest active community in fantasy sports over at fantasyguru.com. I'm Ray Flowers. I'll see you tomorrow. This has been Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by the one and only fantasyguru.com.